Indiana basketball destroys Marquette in Chicago behind some on-fire three-point shooting. And I told you this team would be fun.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into this, the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen or your first watch every single day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. And the Locked On Podcast Network is now the #1 podcasting brand in America. So thank you so much for doing that and making us the #1 spot for you. Indiana takes down, as I have the wrong one up. So hold on, give me a second. I'll put that up for us. As Indiana takes down Marquette 100-77. Okay. There we go. That's better. Indiana takes down Marquette 100-77 in Chicago. And man, this team is just so much fun to watch. We're going to talk about all of that today. We're going to talk about the threes. We're going to talk about the free throw shooting. Yes, we'll talk about the fouls, which were ridiculous in my opinion, but we're also going to do likes and dislikes. We'll talk about just the difference in this team from what we've seen in years past and all of that. So thank you so much for being here again and making this your go-to spot. Still feeling under the weather, but we're getting there, right? Getting a little better on this Sunday. So thank you for being here. Drop your thoughts in the YouTube comments. We're going to go over all of those on the show today. 100-77. We were on triple-digit watch the other night in the opener. Didn't quite get there, but the Hoosiers do today on a Sunday afternoon, 100-77. And they do it thanks to 50% three-point shooting. That's right, 14 of 28 from downtown, thanks to Lamar Wilkerson going 6 of 10 and Tucker DeVries going 6 for 9. Now, you look around everybody else. Yeah, Conor Enright goes 1 for 3. Conway goes 0 for 1. Miles goes 0 for 1. Sisley goes 1 for 4. But you go 50% as a team. You also shoot 50% from the floor as a team, and you shoot 83% from the free throw line as a team as well. This was a shooting clinic by the Indiana Hoosiers, one that we just haven't seen in quite some time by an Indiana basketball team. And it is refreshing is what I used on, what was that, Wednesday in the opener, right? That's the word that I continued to use, was refreshing for this Indiana team. And this is just fun to watch, man. Tucker DeVries going off for 20 plus in the first half. Lamar Wilkerson ends the game with 23, most of that coming in the second half. And then you have guys like Sam Alexis, Trent Sisley coming in who had really good games as well. Sam Alexis back-to-back good performances to start the season. Man, it's just night and day offensively for the Indiana Hoosiers. And thank God, right? I mean, thank the Lord that this team has a new offensive identity. And it's find an open shot and take an open shot. And if it's in today's case, it's make an open shot, right? And that's what I love about the Darian DeVries system. He gives his guys the green light. And you can see why DeVries and Wilkerson absolutely deserve the green light, because they were just nuclear today in the United Center. Now, we'll talk about why that could come back to bite you in some games here coming up in just a little bit. But again, Indiana wins 100-77. The offensive system just looks so pretty, man. There's no standing around. There's no ball watching. There's no flat-footed offense. Everybody's moving. High ball screens, off ball screens, slip screens, backdoor cuts, nice bounce passes, fake high, go low, fake low, go high, right? Indiana has a lot of that in their arsenal. Now, there were a couple of times where I thought we were trying to force a couple of things, right? Trying to force the ball to Sam Alexis and Reed Bailey at the top, right around the free throw line or the top of the key, or that high elbow, that high post. I thought we were trying to force that a couple of times where Marquette was clearly shutting it down. But folks, I don't know how much Marquette basketball you watch, but Shaka Smart's teams don't give up 100 points like this. They don't give up all those threes. They don't give up points in the paint like they did today. This was a good offensive performance by the Hoosiers. And yes, you were on fire from outside, but you beat them down offensively. And then on the other side of the floor, you held them to 77 points, some of those coming in garbage time. And the fact that a lot of their points, came early in that first half from the free throw line, right? They got 29 points from the free throw line, folks. 29. That's insane. Excuse me. That's insane to think about. They had a guy go 10 of 12, 4 for 4, 8 for 9, 3 for 3. 29 of their 77 points were from the free throw line, and yet you still win by double digits. You were in foul trouble the entire time, which let's get to that for a moment. This will come up in likes and dislikes, I'm sure, but man, this was horribly officiated. Horrible. Man, it's embarrassing to watch a game be called like this with the ups and downs and the inconsistencies throughout. This is something that I've griped about with college basketball for quite some time, where the first 20 minutes are not officiated the same as the second 20 minutes and vice versa, right? Where you have a crew that says, yeah, we called a lot of fouls in that first half. Maybe we should chill out a little bit. We got a call from the Big Ten office or somebody, and we're probably not supposed to call that many. So let's just put it in our pocket in the second half. That's not right. That's not okay. That's not how this is supposed to go, right? And so you had all these fouls in the first half. You had a lot of fouls in the second half, but then the last 4 or 5 minutes of each half, they put the whistle in their pocket and they just watched and they didn't call anything. I don't understand that, but it's a miracle that Indiana only had one guy foul out in this game. Conor Enright fouls out with 7 or 8 minutes to go, I think. But the fact that Connerway didn't foul out, DeVries didn't foul out, Bailey didn't foul out. He picked up 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes of the game, did Reed Bailey, which is why he only had 5 points and 5 rebounds in this contest. He didn't play. He didn't play because he was in such bad foul positioning. And then he felt like he couldn't defend and do what he needed to do. So I don't understand that. I've never understood that. It's frustrating as a player, as a coach, as a fan, because you don't know what you can and can't do time in and time out. So that was frustrating. But regardless, the Hoosiers have to figure out how to defend without fouling, whether they're calling them or not. Some of them were not good plays by Indiana. There were a couple of instances where it was like, man, a couple of the reach-in fouls on Wilkerson or Enright, a couple of those you just can't have. You can't have those in big games because they're going to call them. So overall, Indiana overcame it, and you still win by double digits. Again, 100-77. Indiana takes down Marquette in Chicago, and this was the first big test, right? The fact that you played this well in your second game of the season is really impressive to me. And again, you did it from behind the three-point arc. You see now why you went and got Lamar Wilkerson. Tucker DeVries was always coming here once his dad got hired. But you know and now see why those guys came here and why the offense is going to revolve around those two. Because when they're hot, and you cannot go away from them because they can shoot it from pretty much anywhere. But you are going to have to find other scoring. And I talked about this coming into the season, but Indiana cannot rely on that type of shooting night in and night out because you're not going to get it night in and night out. I would love to say that the Hoosiers are going to shoot 14 of 28 from 3 every single night and put up 100 points. Probably not going to happen. Folks, this is the first time that Indiana has put up 90 points in back-to-back games since 2016. Okay, offense hasn't been like this at Indiana in quite some time, and this is only a 2-game sample. But you should be able to rely on those guys to score consistently. I'm just not saying from behind the arc like they did. But regardless, you got it today, and you took advantage of it. 100-77, Indiana takes down Marquette. Coming up next, we're doing likes and dislikes as the Hoosiers are 2-0 here in 2025. That's coming up next on this live edition of Locked On Hoosiers. This live show of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Wayfair. The holiday season is right around the corner, and that means it's time to get your home ready. Whether you need more seating for guests, cozy new linens, or fun serveware for holiday hosting, Wayfair's Black Friday sale is here to help you make your space shine. And the best part, you don't have to wait. Wayfair's Black Friday deals are happening all month long with up to 70% off from everything to sofas, to spatulas, to rugs, or whatever else that you need. So head to Wayfair right now and don't miss out on those Black Friday deals. Wayfair.com to shop Wayfair's Black Friday sale for up to 70% off. That's WAYFAIR.com. The sale ends on December 7th. This live show of Locked On Hoosiers also brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand like a Tucker DeVries or Lamar Wilkerson, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. So right now, FanDuel giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Head to FanDuel.com right now to sign up and play for FanDuel. All right, welcome back into this live edition of Locked On Hoosiers. I'm Jacob Goins, the host of this show, and thank you so much for being here and making this your go-to spot for all things Indiana athletics as we talk football, basketball, and everything in between. So this is, of course, a live show for basketball. We did one yesterday for football. Be sure you go and check that out. 100-77 final score for the Indiana Hoosiers. Just to run you through some of the scoring totals real quick, and then we'll go to some comments and do likes and dislikes. Lamar Wilkerson had 23. Tucker DeVries leads everybody with 27. You had Trent Sisley with a quiet, good game of 15. Couple of nice dunks in there. Good effort plays from him. Love Trent Sisley. He's a big like for me. Sam Alexis, 13. Looking through, Bailey had 5. You have Enright with 7, including the half-court buzzer beater, which was insane. He got fouled on that, by the way, but they didn't call it. Conor with 4. Miles with 4. And 2 there at the end. So to the comments we go. And we do likes and dislikes. If you're new here, this is how we end every live show doing post-game. We do likes and dislikes. Let me know what you liked. Let me know what you didn't like about Indiana's win over Marquette. And I'll start right here at the top with Griffin. It says, what happens with an injury to Sam Alexis or Bailey? And this is a hypothetical saying what happens if they get injured. And you kind of saw a glimpse of it today, right? You saw a glimpse of what could happen if one of these guys were to go down or if they just get in foul trouble, which is what happened today. I thought Sam Alexis, for the most part, held his own, okay? Held his own without Bailey being out there. Here's the problem, though. All right, here's the issue is you start looking at team comparison stats. Again, Indiana shot the ball really well, 50% from the floor, 50% from 3, and 83% from the line. You didn't turn the ball over, only 8 times, which is fantastic for the Hoosiers, 15 for Marquette. But here's the number, and I can't believe that it's not as bad. I really thought this would be worse. You got out rebounded 39-34. I rebounded 39-34 by Marquette. I honestly thought it would be worse. And that's kind of what Griffin is talking about, is rebounding and defending, right? And even just an offensive presence in the lane. You're going to have to keep those guys healthy and out of foul trouble because you'll struggle if they're not on the floor, plain and simple. So that was a like for me today with Sam Alexis, but a dislike is the fact that Bailey just didn't get to be effective or a big impact on this game. Nick says, what a time to be alive. When was the last time IU basketball, football, and the Colts all won on the same weekend? It's a great question. Great comeback win by the Colts this morning. If you missed that, Jonathan Taylor, he's not in my fantasy league, but if you had him in yours, you probably won because of it. I don't know. Somebody do that research and see when the last time all 3 won in the same weekend. Going through, this guy says that Indiana's passing and 3-pointers look so good. They have a good coach this year, hoping for a Sweet 16. Okay, so already looking ahead and thinking a Sweet 16 is a possibility. I'll give you credit on a like that the passing of this team is remarkable. They're always looking for their teammates. They're always moving without the basketball, and the offensive system allows them to do that. Love the coach so far. I think you're getting both effort on offense and defense for Indiana. Love the defensive pressure this week, or in this game for Indiana against Marquette. So that's another big like for me, was the on-ball pressure. Really took Marquette out of their game and made them look uncomfortable in the half court. Sweet 16, I don't know if I'm ready to go there yet, but if this team can get a hot like they did today, they could probably beat anybody in the country. TJ, yep, putting up 100 on a legitimate opponent is incredible. It's exactly right. Marquette will be an NCAA tournament team, I would imagine. Now, they got some talent at Indiana, made them look mid today, but if you don't go 50% from three, that's a game right down to the wire. So, putting that up on a good defense with Shaka Smart is a big, big deal. Brett, I agree. That's a like for me. I thought Tom Crean called a good game, is what Brett says. And I agree. Sounds like it was a late decision to get him in. I don't know if the original color commentator on TV backed out or something happened, or they just called Tom because of the matchup. I don't know. I thought he did a good job too. I did. I thought he brought really good insight. I thought he was fair. I thought he was critical when he needed to be. He was celebratory when he needed to be. And a couple of times when factoids came up about Indiana or Marquette during his time at their respective schools, I thought he leaned into it. So I thought he did a good job. Glad to see Trent Sisley with some good minutes again today. Big like for me. If you've been listening to this show, I've been on Trent Sisley since the summer. I'm telling you, man, 7 of 12 on the day, had 5 boards, had an assist as well with 15 points. Trent Sisley is that dude. I expect him to be a major contributor for this team down the stretch, okay? So TJ also says shooting 90% from the line through 2 games is a big deal. Woodson's teams drove me nuts by not taking the free points. You're right. And I agree that Indiana shot the ball well today. Ended up having, 20 of 24. That's great. It really, really is. I will say a dislike for me is the lack of dribble penetration with your guards. It felt like, and I put Tucker DeVries in this scenario. He had a couple of plays that I can remember, but I put guys like Tucker and Enright and Wilkerson and even Sisley when he's in the game too, and Conor, right? And even Josiah Miles, I guess, if he gets the ball out there. I want to see more penetrating the defense into the lane to where they'll crash and kick it out to those shooters. I felt like Indiana moves the ball around the perimeter, but I didn't see a ton of dribble drive and then kick out for the open 3. And against some of these bigger teams, I think Indiana's going to have to do that because they're going to just pack the lane and even spread the floor at times too, and you're going to have to move them around a little bit. And so I want to see that a little bit more for Indiana. TJ talks about a dislike being the DeVries not on the refs. I think he realized early that this was what it was going to be. It was going to be that type of game, whether he complained about it or not. So I just want to see more consistency, man. I want to see more consistency. Lee says 2 days in a row where the guys with stripes could be invisible, either blocking out our defense or not able to figure out what to call. Yeah. At least Indiana won both of them though. So I like complaining about officiating a lot more after a win than I do after a loss. And so the situation yesterday with the official getting in the way to allow a big run in the football game, and today just inconsistencies on fouls. I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. It'll never change, so it is what it is. Dislike on Josiah Miles not getting into the flow of the offense. Yeah, I thought he forced some things today. Thought he forced a lot of shots and just really looked uncomfortable in his limited minutes. So I agree with that. I want to see him be more in this offense. Another dislike for me, and has nothing to do with the game itself, it's just the idea that you still don't have guys playing, right? Nick Dorn didn't play today. You've still got 2 or 3 guys on the bench that haven't seen time yet, that are coming back from injuries and things. And so keep that in mind, right? This Indiana team's not even at 100%, but yet their first big test, they handle it with ease. 100-77, Indiana takes down Marquette. And when you look at what the schedule looks like moving forward for the next several games, get it pulled back up here. for the Hoosiers. I mean, this is what we talked about, right? This is what we talked about in the beginning was, okay, how do you do against some of the bigger names? Yeah, the Alabama A&Ms, the Lyndon Woods of the world, you should handle business. But Marquette, Louisville, Kentucky, Kansas State, right? What do you do against those teams? And you're 1-0 against the teams that you are going to be tested against. And so Indiana takes down Marquette 100-77. Here's what the schedule looks like. All right, you've got Milwaukee coming up on the 12th. I believe that's on Wednesday. Then Incarnate Word on the 16th. Lindenwood on the 20th. Kansas State on the 25th. And Bethune-Cookman on the 29th. All of those are at home. All right, all of those are going to be at Assembly Hall. So you've got a nice little run coming through here where 3 games, you should really be able to work on some things. Another P4 opponent with Kansas State. And then Bethune-Cookman, that's a sneaky good team. That team took, I believe they took Auburn, I think, to an overtime game last week in the opener. So that's probably a tournament team is Bethune-Cookman. So don't overlook them. Then you go on the road to Minnesota and then Louisville and then Penn State and Kentucky. So you've got about a week or 2 of games where you can still work on some things, hopefully get healthy and get right before the season really ramps up. But man, what a fun team this is going to be between the guards and the bigs and the shooters. I mean, this is a fun team to watch. Anthony asked, is the Louisville game home or away? That is actually neutral site. I believe that's in Indianapolis. Let me double check. I think it is. That's at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Yep, that game is at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. So that game is a neutral site. Kansas State's at home. Louisville's neutral site. Kentucky's on the road. Kentucky is in Rupp Arena. All right, so that one's going to be pretty tough, but I think of those games, shoot, if you can beat either Louisville or Kentucky, then you're feeling pretty good. Win all these other non-conference games and get started hot in Big Ten play, then you're really talking. So a fun Sunday afternoon of Indiana basketball. Hoosiers take down Marquette 100-77. We're going to talk more about this team coming up this week, another game on Wednesday. So thank you so much for being here on this live show. We go live after every Indiana football and men's basketball game here on the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, because we post daily shows on our channel Monday through Friday, 25-30 minutes a day talking football and basketball. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, like our videos when you see them, or if you're more of an audio listener, you can do that too. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, however you want to take it in, you can do so just by searching Locked On Hoosiers. And thank you so much again for making this your first listen each and every day. Folks, we are almost to 7,000 subscribers. I think we can get there before tomorrow morning. I would love to see that when I wake up on a Monday. So be sure you do that. And thank you for making us the #1 podcasting network out there, okay? Or sports podcasting network out there, okay? We're back tomorrow for a normal episode, Hoosier fans, on a Monday. So until then, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.